Happy Saturday, guys. It is Hearts, and today I have two PrizePick player props I really like for tonight's NBA games. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the two-pick breakdown. Before I get into the two picks for today, just want to do a recap of the two picks from the previous PrizePicks video. As you can see, both easily hit. They both smashed. DeAndre Jordan, I think he ended up going for like 50 fantasy points. James Harden easily hit that by a few points as well. So nice little clean sweep there. Looking to continue that into today's picks. So the first one I have for you guys today is going to be the over on Jabari Smith Jr. The reason why I like that is just due to a minutes thing, matchup thing, all that stuff. I'll get to that in 1 second here. But the main thing is we know Jalen Green has been ruled out. Same thing with Kevin Porter Jr. With both those guys out, Jabari Smith has seen actually a decent amount of minutes without them on the floor. He's seen around a 25% usage rate in about 130 minutes. He's averaged 31.58 fantasy points per game. So I don't mind taking his fantasy score. He's also averaged 18.17 points per game, 6.71 rebounds per game, and 2.24 assists per game. And that's all without Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green. So there is very, very solid upside. The game is also only a 4-point spread. We have two really bad teams here in Houston versus Detroit. So it should be very close. And the total is pretty high here, 236.5. And the last reason why I like this, besides the fact that he's averaging over 18 points per game, over 6 rebounds, and over 2 assists per game without those two main stars. So that 20.5 is way too low here. Very close game. And kind of the third thing for me is they drafted him super high, was like 4th pick overall. He's kind of not been the best this year. He's slowly started to turn it on, shoot a little bit better. But I think with those two main guys off the floor, we're really going to expect Jabari Smith kind of to take over and shine here. He was that third option alongside Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. And now with both of them off the floor, I do expect Jabari Smith to kind of, take it on and be like, all right, they picked me 4th overall. These two guys are off the floor. I'm really going to need to step up here. As you can see, he's almost averaged, 12 and 7 in 1 without those guys on the floor. So that's super, super close to that 20 and a half PRA line already. So I really expect him to step up here in this spot. And the minutes should be great on him. Those are all 36 minutes. But, I mean, he was coming back from that toe injury, saw 29 minutes. That's a good amount of minutes. And then in the last game, the game blew out. Saw 19 minutes. Before that, he was seeing about 30 plus, and that was with kind of the full team back. With those two guys off the floor, I do expect him to creep into those mid 30 minutes. So really, really like the matchup here. Really, really like the expected usage Jabari should have in this spot. So I'm going to take the over here for his 20.5 PRA. I took his points the other day with Kevin Porter Jr. ruled out, and it easily hit. So I do have a good amount of interest in all of these props right now, but main one I'm going to focus on is the safest one, which is the PRA of 20.5. The second pick I have for today is going to be going back to the well here with DeAndre Jordan. Really like the over of 36.5 fantasy score for him. I don't mind the points and rebounds as well. I think it's a very solid line there at 30.5. The reason why I like this one is, one, the spread is only 5.5, so it should be a pretty close game. It's a 232.5 over under, so it should be decently high scoring as well. And if we look at this per 36 without Devin Booker on the court, without campaign, DeAndre Jordan actually leads the team in terms of usage with a 28.5% usage rate. He sees about 40.91 fantasy points per game per 36 without Devin Booker and campaign as well on the floor. So it easily clears that number. He's averaging about 21.5 points per game, about 13-ish rebounds per game as well, and about 440 minutes of play. So recapping that, without campaign, without Devin Booker, he's averaging over 40 fantasy points per game per 36, as well as over 21 fantasy points, over 12.5 rebounds, and a huge sample size of 440 minutes. So if it's going to be a close game, especially looking at his box score recently, he's easily gotten there without the per 36. Like past 2 games, 32, he's gone off for 49.5, 31 with Chris Paul back. He's still shot it 20 times, went off for 51.5 because he's just a beast. He's been super, super aggressive without Devin Booker on the floor. As you can see, the past 2 games, that game versus Memphis was a blowout. Still played 30 minutes. Didn't do the best there. 8-11, shot the ball great, but obviously they lost a ton of minutes due to that blowout. Same thing versus Minnesota. I know it looked close, but it was actually a pretty big blowout the whole game until the end. They kind of came back, but before that, shot it 16 times, went for 40.5. Played 36, shot it 20 times against Miami, 43.5, 37, shot it 12 times, still went off for 41 fantasy points there. So really, really like the opportunity here. And we're playing against the Spurs. We're going to get Jakob Poeltl. We're going against John Collins. I really love the matchup here. Love his first 36 stats. Should be a close game. So I really like taking the over. Once again, honorable DeAndre Ayton, riding the hot streak of 2 games in a row of 45 plus fantasy points for our boy. So these are the 2 picks I really like for tonight. Jabari Smith Jr. over 20.5 PRA, and then over the fantasy score of 36.5 for our boy DeAndre Ayton. So if you guys are riding with me, hit that like button. Let me know what picks you guys are on today in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Also, make sure to check out my slate breakdown today.